We are introduced to Dre Parker, an American teenager living with his widowed mother, Sherry. Hoping for a fresh start and a better life, they pack their bags and move from Detroit to China. The move is a complete leap into the unknown, with neither of them familiar with the language or customs of their new home. Upon their arrival, Dre is frustrated to find even his favorite cartoon, SpongeBob, is dubbed in a language he doesn't understand. Sherry, on the other hand, is shocked to find China to be not as antiquated as portrayed in the magazines. Their new living conditions prove challenging as they find their apartment's hot water system broken. Dre is tasked with finding the maintenance man, Mr. Han. He manages to find Mr. Han, who seems uninterested in his request for help, preoccupied with attempting to catch a fly using his chopsticks. Afterward, Dre befriends Harry, a fellow English-speaking teenager. Dre also crosses paths with a young violinist named Mei-ying. The two hit it off, until they're interrupted by Cheng, a local boy who dislikes Dre's interaction with Mei-ying. Following his confrontation with Cheng, Dre attends the local school where he once again crosses paths with Cheng, Mei-ying, and Cheng's friends. A tense cafeteria incident reveals Cheng's true intentions to bully Dre. Meanwhile, Mei-ying can't help but worry about Dre. Back at the apartment, Dre is caught attempting to mimic kung fu moves from the TV by Mr. Han. Although initially dismissive of Mr. Han, Dre is taken aback when he is hit by a toothpaste cap tossed by the maintenance man. At school, Dre discovers Mei-ying practicing her violin for an important audition. Their conversation is cut short by Cheng and his gang, who warn Dre to stay away from Mei-ying. Later, during a visit to the Forbidden City, Dre stumbles upon a group of teenagers practicing kung fu, only to discover that Cheng is a skilled kung fu practitioner himself. Feeling dejected, Dre insists on leaving the Forbidden City early, raising concerns from his mother, Sherry. He eventually opens up about his discontent, blaming her for their relocation to China. The next day, a school trip to the Forbidden City presents Dre with an opportunity for retaliation. He secretly follows Cheng and his gang before dousing them with a bucket of filthy water. Enraged, the boys give chase through the city. Dre finds himself trapped in a dead-end alley, and despite his best efforts to escape, he is caught by Cheng. The boys surround Dre, beating him mercilessly. Just as Cheng prepares to deliver the final blow, Mr. Han intervenes, catching Cheng's wrist midair. He tries to defuse the situation, urging the boys to go home, but a defiant Cheng attempts a kick. To Dre's surprise, Mr. Han, revealing himself to be a kung fu master, effortlessly deflects Cheng's attack and incapacitates the boys without striking them directly. Mr. Han takes Dre home, tending to his wounds using the traditional Chinese healing method of fire cupping. Dre implores Mr. Han to teach him kung fu for self-defense. Initially reluctant, Mr. Han eventually agrees and accompanies Dre to the Fighting Dragon Academy, hoping to make peace with Cheng and his ruthless teacher, Li. When Master Li rejects their peace offering, challenging either Dre or Mr. Han to a fight, they decline. Spotting a poster for a kung fu competition, Mr. Han proposes settling the matter there. Dre is taken aback when he learns that he will have to face Cheng and his gang in the tournament. Promising to teach Dre the true essence of kung fu, which he believes Master Li has failed to do, Mr. Han takes on Dre as his student. Dre is eager to start his training, but upon arriving at Mr. Han's place, he finds a broken car and a training regimen that is far from what he anticipated. Mr. Han insists on a repetitive exercise of picking up his jacket, hanging it, and taking it down, aimed at teaching discipline. Unaware of the underlying lesson, Dre grows frustrated as the days pass with the same seemingly mundane routine. Determined, Dre continues his training relentlessly, undeterred by weather conditions. Out of the blue, Sherry visits and invites Dre and Mr. Han to join her at the Shirshir Festival. During the festival, Dre runs into Mei-ying. He asks her to accompany him to his upcoming kung fu tournament, and in turn, promises to attend her audition. During the festival, Mr. Han reveals to Sherry that Dre is his first ever kung fu student. However, Dre eventually grows frustrated with the repetitive nature of his training, rudely declaring his intention to quit and accusing Mr. Han of not knowing kung fu. Disappointed but calm, Mr. Han demonstrates that the seemingly monotonous routine was intended to develop muscle memory. Dre is astounded when he finds himself instinctively deflecting Mr. Han's sudden attacks. From that point, Dre begins to appreciate Mr. Han and his unique approach to teaching Kung Fu. The next day, Mr. Han takes Dre to a temple in Wudang Mountain, where he once trained. Here, Dre is amazed to witness the incredible Kung Fu techniques and abilities, including a woman who appears to control a snake. They reach Dragon Well where Mr. Han instructs Dre to taste the water, marking the beginning of a new phase of training focusing on concentration, physical fitness, and flexibility. In his time off, Dre explores the city with Mei Ying, marveling at her dance skills. An unexpected call informs Mei Ying that her audition has been rescheduled for the same day. She makes it just in time, with Dre secretly following to watch her performance. Despite Mei Ying's successful audition, her parents disapprove of Dre and ask her to stop seeing him. Returning to Mr. Han's house, Dre finds the teacher drunk, wreaking havoc on the broken car. Dre learns of Mr. Han's tragic past, losing his wife and son in a car accident following an argument. Unable to forgive himself, Mr. Han has lived with the guilt. Wanting to help, Dre convinces him to resume the training. Dre's training intensifies as he becomes more determined to win the competition and make Mr. Han proud. After several weeks of rigorous training, Mr. Han deems Dre ready for the competition. As a token of encouragement, Mr. Han gifts Dre a Bruce Lee fighting suit on the day of the competition. That night, Dre gathers the courage to visit Mei Ying's house, where he apologizes to her father in Mandarin. Touched by Dre's effort, the father accepts the apology and assures that Mei Ying will support him at the tournament. At last, the long-awaited tournament day arrives. The venue is packed with spectators, and the competitors seem formidable. Dre enters his first official match but, unfamiliar with the rules, steps out of the ring, losing a point. In subsequent rounds, however, Dre gains confidence and successfully defeats his first opponent. Meanwhile, fighters from the Fighting Dragon Academy, including Cheng, advance through the stages of the tournament. Reaching the semi-finals, Dre faces Liang, another skilled student from the academy. Master Li instructs Liang to deliberately injure Dre's leg, which leads to his disqualification from the semi-final. Despite this underhanded move, Dre manages to advance to the grand final, although he's seriously hurt. With Dre possibly unable to continue, Cheng is prepared to claim the trophy. However, Dre insists on proceeding and requests Mr. Han to treat him using the fire cupping method. Although reluctant initially, Mr. Han is eventually convinced by Dre's determination. In the grand finale, Dre makes a comeback after losing the first round to Cheng, regaining the lead. As expected, Cheng exploits Dre's injury, delivering a heavy kick to his weakened leg. Despite the pain, Dre insists on continuing the fight. He remembers the woman controlling the snake at the temple and mimics her movements. Underestimating Dre, Cheng charges at him, providing Dre the opportunity to deliver a powerful overhead kick to his face. Cheng falls and is unable to rise, leading to Dre's victory as the tournament champion. In an act of respect, Cheng presents Dre with the trophy, while the students of Fighting Dragon Academy bow to Mr. Han, acknowledging their respect for the true spirit of Kung Fu they witnessed.